Hello, this is the final presentation of Team 8 for the self-directed project of CS 6795 Intro to Cognitive Science taught by Professor Ashok Goel at the Georgia Institute of Technology in spring of 2023.
My name is Carlos Catalan.
My name is Lauren Kearley.
My name is Raymond.
My name is Wenyuan.
Our study focuses on the potential use of analogies as an effective means of training for user interfaces. In the field of human-computer interaction, there is a focus on developing intuitive user interfaces for targeted audiences. The general approach in the HCI field is to use metaphor-based design to help users manipulate existing mental models in an effort to make user interfaces more intuitive and approachable. Yet, with the passage of time, metaphors relevant to the original targeted audience will quickly become outdated and irrelevant to the next generation of users. Faced with the prospect of redesigning a user interface from scratch, we turn to the idea of analogy-based training for user interfaces.
Engaging similar mental models to metaphor-based design, it is hypothesized that by providing analogically similar tasks to the true tasks that the user interface is designed to operate on, users will be able to utilize the unfamiliar interface more efficiently and accurately on the true task than those trained through conventional approaches such as reading documentation or watching tutorials. This is because the invocation of mental models and analogical reasoning to manipulate these mental representations are hypothesized to create a more intuitive feel and connection between the user and the interface, and subsequently the user's usage of the interface on the true task. As such, we hypothesize that analogical training, as an approach, would improve the efficiency and accuracy of user performance on the true task, as well as increase the user's perceived ease of use of the user interface, as well as the user's perceived confidence in using the user interface.
To test this hypothesis, a full user interface and user task was built from scratch and deployed to the web for the study. Participants were randomly divided into 3 groups upon choosing to participate in the study. The first group was the control group, where the user was presented with written instructions similar to written documentation, and then users were provided the true task of separating samples by class using the presented user interface. The second group was the interface instructions group, where the user was presented with a video tutorial similar to the industry standard of watching tutorials. The users were then provided the same true task and asked to separate samples by class using the presented user interface. The third group was the analogy group, where the user was presented with a pre-training session in which a visual analog of the true task in the form of beakers was presented. After playing around with the visual analog, the user was then presented with the true task like the other 2 groups.
To summarize the results, over the course of 2 weeks, 20 participants completed the study, among which only 10 successfully completed the true task to the 100% completion needed for evaluation. Comparing the different participant groups to identify significant differences, one-way analysis of various tests were performed with a p-value of 0.05. Efficiency was measured through users' time taken to complete the task, as well as the total number of key presses made by users. No significant difference was identified by the analysis of various tests. Accuracy was measured through users' key press error rate. No significant difference was identified by the analysis of various tests either. Perceived usability was measured through a 7-point Likert scale, in which users responded to the statement of please rate the ease of use of the presented user interface. No significant difference was identified between participant groups. And the perceived confidence in usage was measured through a 7-point Likert scale again, in which users responded to the statement of please rate your confidence in successfully completing the task when using the presented user interface. No significant difference was identified between participant groups.
Upon concluding the study, no significant differences were identified between the different approaches to user interface training. Low participation and excessive task difficulty were identified as possible issues that led to this result. It is suggested that future work samples from a larger pool of participants and fine-tunes the user task difficulty before releasing the study for experimentation. Analogical reasoning remains a powerful tool with its invocation of the manipulation of mental representations, and may very well serve as a bridge between generations that can make user interfaces more accessible to larger populations than only its original targeted demographic.
And that wraps up our study. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you to all participants who participated in the study.